Hello, in today's video I want to have a look at creating some decorative foiled napkins. So I've got that one. I've tried out a number of colour schemes. I've got some sparkly silver and blue snowflakes. I've got a lovely gold tree with some red boughs around the outside. On this one, all in red. On this one, I've started and not finished. So I've got a nice blue Christmas tree on this one. This is a larger napkin. I've tried this on a couple of different types of napkin. I've got some, these are quite nice quality napkins. They're not really thick, but they're a nice quality. And they're a larger napkin, nice and smooth. And then I've got these napkins, and these are smaller napkins, and they're thinner, not quite such a good quality. And in fact, these are from a pack from one of those shops where everything costs £1. So 100 of these in the pack for £1. And then you just add your own foiling, and it's really easy. So let me show you what I've been using. Now obviously whatever hot foil stamps you've got you could use, but I've been using the beautiful Couture Creations Christmas tree from their Naughty on Ice collection. That's this year's Christmas release from them. And they also released some border hot foil stamps. So there's this lovely snowflake pattern, and this is one of those ones. It could be leaves or it could be berries. It's kind of nondescript, and I think it works at any time of year, that one. There's a third one in the pack that I'm not actually using today. And then I've got a Merry Christmas hot foil stamp. But obviously this is a technique you could use for any occasion with other hot foil stamps, with a sentiment on them, or with a, you know, flowers or whatever you've got. So as I say, I'm doing Christmas for this one. So let's start off with my smaller napkin. Okay, now that fits nicely on my GoPress and foil, and in my design I've decided to put the Christmas tree going into the corner, because I thought, you know, if I'm putting this napkin in a wine glass on the table to begin with, then the tree would show nicely. Okay, or just if it was on the table with the cutlery, it would still look very nice. So I decided to go into the corner. You could, you know, just do it straight, just do it in the middle, really whatever you want, but I'm going to do it into the corner. And to help me position it, I'm going to use it's a magnet, the type you use with a stamp press, but I've wrapped it in masking tape. I'm just going to pop that on the back like that, and that just helps hold on to the hot foil stamp for me. Let me get the GoPress over. So this is the hot plate, and it is hot already. So with this, it's just a case of thinking where will it be easy to line the napkin up with to do lots of these, because you'll want to do lots, or at least enough for you and your guests. Obviously these are decorative item. They're not designed to be, strictly speaking, food safe. But a decorative item on the table will look lovely. So there we are. Slide the magnet off, and you leave your hot foil stamp behind. So that can now warm up while I cut my foil. Okay, so I'm going to do one like this. So I'm going to do a gold tree and then some red boughs around it. So let me find my foil, and this is the Couture Creations gold foil warm mirror finish. So it's it's a yellowy gold. They do one that's paler. So I'm going to cut a piece of foil. Now obviously I've done a few of these today, so I'm not going to, I can cut my foil by eye now because I've cut it that many times. I know how many to cut, how much to cut. And trim it roughly to shape. Okay, move the box out of the way. So that's hot. Let's move my napkins out the way a minute. I've also got piece of 250 GSM card folded in half. It's an A4 piece of card folded in half to give me a double thickness A5 shim. I don't know what the American conversion is, but I make my toppers out of this. So pull that over. Now my other tip for this, it was to kind of get your napkin in position and then to kind of flap it back and put your foil on, because the foil tends to curl and it can be a little bit tricky once it's curled up to get the napkin to flatten it down properly again. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my foil on there. It doesn't curl to begin with, so I'm fine. Put that there. Put my shim on. And I'm just going to make sure that's hot enough. And I've got here some more examples of the big ones, so just let me grab that. Oh, I decided to see what happened if I got a napkin wet. I got it really wet, and when it was really wet the foil would rub off, but then I left it to dry and then the foil stays in place after that. So, you know, don't panic too much if they get a little bit damp. Right, so that has finished warming up. Let me just turn the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to pull this off the base and roll it through my die cutting machine. So other than you're foiling on something that's quite floppy, it's not that different to foiling on card. So I can pick that off. And if I've been really organised, I could have some more foil cut and be getting the next one on there ready. Okay, so I've got here a nice clean soft paintbrush. Okay, it's not an expensive paintbrush, it's definitely a nylon bristles on it. In fact, I think it was in a pack of paintbrushes for children to use. But I don't ever use it with water. It's a clean one that I just use with my foiling. I'm going to peel back my foil. Now if I've got any overfoiling, and I haven't this time, but if I have, I find that if I just brush it, it just disappears. Okay, so that's my Christmas tree. Let's bring it up to the camera. Okay, so I'm going to do another one. No, I'm going to move on. And, oh, I want to do one on the larger napkin. That's what I want to do. So, let me bring this back. Let's just have a look at if that's going to fit. So I'm doing it in the corner, so I could just do that and judge where to put it. But actually I think I'm going to take it off and reposition it. I'll just leave it to cool for a moment. because obviously the larger napkins don't fit on the GoPress and foil so easily. So this is just a little bit more. And my magnet is here. So I'm going to reposition this maybe a bit further from the corner because I've got more space on the big ones. There. Get this back and reposition this. So this time I'm going to go so that this edge of my napkin is here. Now you can see this is all sticking out. So when I actually put my foil on and close this up, I need to fold this in so it's not sticking out in my die cutting machine. I just need to warm that up. So shall I do a red tree this time? It's a lovely Christmassy red foil, this. And this one is, let me just check the box. That's the gold box. Now I put a bit of foil on the top of my box using some double-sided tape so that I know which is which. And this is deep red foil mirror finish. And on my blog post I will put the product codes for the colours I've used. Okay, let's get this back. So before I put the foil down, you see it's trying to curl up already. Let's have my napkin. I say these are larger napkins, so I want to foil it into that corner. So I'm going to put my napkin there, okay, and kind of hold it in place, and then just fold it back. Put my foil on, make sure it's covering the whole of the hot foil stamp, and then just put that back. I'm going to put my shim in, and I'm going to fold that bit over on that edge in. Okay, now if you've got a big die cutting machine like me, you might decide to leave it out and just let it go through the die cutting machine with it sticking out. But if you do that, do be careful you don't pick up grease on your napkins from the rollers of your die cutting machine. So it's up to you. You can tuck it in. Can leave it out so long as you're careful it doesn't get caught in the rollers. I think if I was using an electric machine, I'd definitely tuck it in. Because with the hand crank machine, obviously if you see it starting to get drawn into the rollers, you can stop and reverse. Whereas an electric machine, that's more difficult. So, as I say, tuck it in. So I'm just waiting for the GoPress to come to temperature. It is. There we are. I'm going to roll this through. Rolling nice and slowly. So obviously you do end up with a small crease on your napkin, but I don't think your guests will mind. So let's put that to one side. I'm going to take the Christmas tree off, and I'm going to put on my kind of berry sprig strip, and I'm just going to place that by eye I'm not going to put it all the way to the bottom. I'm just going to make sure it is parallel with the side of the GoPress. And just a little way in. And that can be warming up while we're looking at this. So let's peel this foil off. Now these napkins are squidgier than the other ones. So I did find they are more prone to overfoiling. And sure enough, I'll bring this up to the camera and get it to focus on it. You can see I've got lots of spots on there, and that's the overfoiling, okay? So what I'm going to do, or particularly down there, that's a really, really good example down there. See there, it's filled in between the gaps. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to focus on here. I'm going to zoom in on it. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I'm just brushing on in all sorts of directions. And there, it's taken off the overfoiling for me. Can focus on that bit. There we are. Okay, so as I say, it is a squidgy material, so you might get some overfoiling, but then it does brush off. So that's my Christmas tree. So then I want my bow that's going to go down the side. So let me just go back to my smaller one for a minute. So I need some foil that's in strips, and I want it, I don't think the width for the foil roll, oops, let me zoom the camera back to one, the width of the foil roll isn't quite long enough, so I'm going to cut a piece that's long enough that way, maybe a bit longer, just so that I don't have to be too accurate when I'm putting my serviette down. And then I'm going to cut that into 4 strips, and I'm going to put a gentle fold, gentle crease in my foil, so I know I'm going to cut straight and not end up with a piece that's too narrow at one end. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to fold that edge into the middle, and then I can cut my foil into strips. By the time I've got this foil ready, I'll have a nice hot foil stamp. Obviously you can do any design you want on your napkins. Well, any design that you've got hot foil stamps for. You know, they could be birthday ones, you could be doing happy birthday on them. You could have black napkins with gold foil on them. Right, so let me do that. So I want this along those edges, so I need to make sure I go kind of there. Okay, and then I need my shim. And close the lid. Now that got really hot and I didn't have it out for long, so I'm just going to roll it straight away. There we are. Now I am going to warm this up again before I do the next one. So there's my first side. And then that just needs to come to temperature. I'll do the other side. And then I'm going to use the Snowflake and do some snowflakes around the edge of this one. And I'm going to need some foil for that, and I'm going to use, gosh, I've got all sorts here. I'm going to use this lovely sparkly foil. Okay, so, but before I do that, I need to finish off this one. So I've got my hot 4 stamp, nice and hot. I've got some foil, and this time I need to foil down that edge. So I want that edge down to here. I'm going to move that. I'm going to be right there. And then I'm going to just roll it through. There, so that's super quick and easy. And you could batch make, you know, enough of these for certainly for your family dinner, really quickly and really cheaply. So let me switch over to the snowflakes. I love these border strips. They're such useful hot 4 stamps. Right, so buried under here, I've got my snowflakes. Put those on. I'm going to put that to warm up. Somewhere I had some foil. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with this. I want a nice long piece, but then I need to cut it into 4 pieces. I've done this piece of foil larger than the previous piece because this is for the larger napkins. So that's ready, and my foil isn't. Get my napkin ready. I'm done with it. My napkin. So if I want this to go along this edge, I need to be able to put this down on here. Okay, so I'm just going to, if I hold it at the bottom and just move this out of the way, then I can put my foil on without it curling up too much. somewhere. The foil, there we are. One piece of foil. And then I'm going to put my napkin back down and just line it up. I'm just being careful that foil doesn't move while I'm trying to line up the napkin. There we are. I just feel where the hot foil stamp is with my fingers through these. That will do nicely. Yeah. Put my, we only want a single shim with that. There we are. That one there. Now I'm going to fold the larger part of the napkin out the way. I'm going to let that warm up for a moment or two. Okay, I'm going to cut another piece of this ready so I can do the other edge. It must be nearly there. There we are. Just rolling that through. Move my foil out of the way. Okay, so fold that back out. Lovely sparkly snowflakes, and then I'm going to put my foil on and do the other edge that way around. There, so that, just going to make sure that's warm again. It's very tempting not to, but you can bet that if I don't make sure it's warm, then that will be the time that it won't be. So when I was trying this out, I tried a few ideas. So I did a Christmas tree that way, and I did them in all sorts of different colours, and I have buried them completely. Down there underneath my shim. So I did that experiment with one that I didn't quite have enough pressure on the foiling, but that's the one I got wet and then dried out. So this is warm now, so let's roll that through. There we are. Love that water design. Okay, and then we could put a Merry Christmas on it as well if we want to. So, shall we have a Merry Christmas in the red? I've got some red foil here. So let me just figure out where I want that now. I'm going to cut my foil first, because I don't know what size I need it. Okay, and then I'm going to find my magnet buried under here. And I'm going to position my hot foil stamp, and I'm going to make sure I get it the right way up with the Merry at the top. I'm going to put that on there. Just kind of centre it underneath the Christmas tree. Okay, so that's there. And then I'm just going to decide which edge I'm best lining up with for that. I think it might be that one. I'm going to put that corner down there and then just hold that hot foil stamp in place through my napkin. That's a bit close to the edge. That's not going to work. I might have a corner of that hot foil stamp that doesn't get hot if I do it there. So how about if I do it there instead? You do have to think a bit about these things, because you've only got so much space on your foiling platform. So if I do that and put that in that corner, that will work. Okay, so let's keep the napkin that way round and heat up the hot foil stamp. Right, so that's my hot foil stamp, and that's my napkin. That's the way round I want it. So I like that one. With a gold Merry Christmas, that would be lovely on that one. And that one. So any sorts of colours. And as I say, you could do this for any occasion with what, using whatever foil stamps you've got, whatever colours. Even if you're doing Christmas, if you want a really contemporary Christmas, you could do blues and purples and pinks and silver. Rose gold looks absolutely stunning for any occasion, and that would look lovely on a napkin. Yeah, I'm going to be doing lots of these. So I've got my foil. Yeah, that's my piece of foil. I've got my hot foil stamp. So I'm going to get my napkin. I'm going to get that kind of in position first. So is that right? If that goes there? No, I've turned that round. It must have been that way. I'm just making sure I know where that's going to end up. And then I'm going to just flap it back. Put the foil in place. Because the foil tends to start curling, and I found it more of a problem to flatten it out than I do when I'm using card. Okay, then I've got my shim, and because these are the thicker napkins, it's just a single shim. Fold that in, close the lid, and I'm just going to roll it straight away. Because I placed my foil and the napkin quite quickly, so that the hot foil stamp won't have cooled very much. It will have kept its heat. I hope. expensive napkins. It's not a big piece of foil. There we are. So let me just move this out of the way. And there we are. So there's my decorative serviette in whatever colour scheme I want. And, you know, for any occasion you want, really. There we are. Thank you for watching.